The United Nations Meditation Room is a temple of Lucifer worship. In a room offset from the main lobby of the New York United Nations headquarters building is the notorious Meditation Room maintained by the Lucis Trust, formerly named the Lucifer Publishing Company. The group maintaining this room was named after Lucifer. Yes, you just can't make this stuff up. The founders of the Lucis Trust worshipped Satan, Lucifer, as the bringer of knowledge to this world. Another major contributor to this room was John D. Rockefeller. The room is one of the greatest symbols of Lucifer worship in the world and links the UN with this practice. Pay attention. This is very important because these guys have a lot of power in this world. First, before we describe it, a shout out to a member of our community, Stephen Welp, who researched this very interesting video and others for us. Now, in terms of this room, there is one way in and one way out through a winding corridor protected by 2 UN guards. The room is wedge-shaped, designed like a pyramid, lying on its side, with a mural placed at the capstone or at the top. In other words, where the pointed top of the pyramid would appear to be cut off, and this unusual mural appears in its place. This is the identical shape and form of the pyramid found on the back of the US dollar bill that is topped by the all-seeing eye. Thus, the mural is representative of the all-seeing eye. In the middle of the room is a large black stone altar made of iron ore called the Stone of Light. Although the UN doesn't acknowledge this, to our eyes, it's representative of Satan himself, a dark force who disguises himself as an angel of light. The iron ore in this rock is lodestone, a natural magnet emitting magnetic waves. Lodestone is associated with magic and Wiccans, and the lodestone at the UN was the largest of its kind ever mined in the world. The foundation of the lodestone is set all the way down in the bedrock below New York City, and the public is not allowed into this restricted area. Lodestones were used in classical Greek mythology for divination. Helenus of Troy foretold the Trojan War using a lodestone washed with spring water. Following a complex ritual, Helenus asked the lodestone a series of questions, and it responded in a child's voice, describing the fall of the city. The UN lodestone is polished on the top so that it brings forth a sheet of minute lights that shine like billions of tiny stars when hit by a light beam from above it. Now, the foundation stone, or Stone of Light, was placed in the meditation room of the UN by Dag Hammarskjöld, a former UN Secretary General of the UN, and a known Gnostic mystic who described it as, quote, the symbol of the God of all. Now, this is not the symbol of Yehovah, the God of the Bible. So he's talking about another God, a little g God. Obviously, the one that Paul calls the God of this age, or Satan. This rock cube bears an uncanny resemblance, if you haven't noticed, to the Kaaba in Mecca, the holy cube of Islam, which is encircled by a sea of worshippers who make pilgrimages to it. The Kaaba means cube and predates the development of Islam. It was dedicated to the god Hu-Baal, who was the same god known as Baal or Baal in Assyria, who was worshipped as the greatest of the 360 idols that the Kaaba contained, which probably represented the days of the year. This god is now known as Allah. So the Stone of Light in the meditation room is similar to the structure in Mecca and probably is dedicated to the same god, Baal or Allah. The Kaaba is a granite cube which includes the black stone, a meteorite which may be the image of Artemis of the Ephesians that's mentioned in the book of Acts. But when they found out that he was a Jew, all with one voice cried out for about 2 hours, "Great is Artemis of the Ephesians." Now this is a whole lot like how Islamists today chant "Greatest is Allah" or "Allah Akbar. And when the city clerk had quieted the crowd, he said, "Men of Ephesus, what man is there who does not know that the city of Ephesus is the temple guardian of the great goddess Artemis and the image which fell down from Zeus?" Acts 19:34 through 35. So the Ephesians worshipped Artemis through this meteorite, which they called her image. Now, Islamists worship Allah through a stone as well. Its physical appearance is that of a fragmented dark rock polished smooth by the hands of its pilgrims, who try to touch it on their hajjs or pilgrimages. Islamic tradition holds that it fell down from heaven as well as a guide for Adam and Eve to build an altar. So it sure sounds like a meteorite, and many believe it may be the exact same meteorite that was used in Artemis's temple in Ephesus. Muslim tradition states it was originally white but became black with time as it absorbed the sins of those who touched it. This black stone meteorite is said to take away the sins of the world, at least the Muslim world, who pray to it. Obviously, it is a direct challenge to Jesus himself, who is the one who takes away the sins of the world. Now, getting back to the meditation room. Beyond the altar is the mural. The mural is an abstract tapestry, kind of like in the style of a Picasso painting. The numerology of the tapestry is just riddled with the occult. For example, there are 13 triangle pyramids. There are 13 steps in the pyramid of the US dollar, by the way. There are 72 geometric figures in the tapestry altogether. And there are 72 bricks that make up the pyramid on the back of the US dollar. Do you notice there's like this link between this room and the US dollar? 13 and 72 are very common occultic numeric values. There are 72 columns around the courtyard in St. Peter's Square, by the way, in the Vatican. In an occult pentagram, the points of the star touch the circle each 72 degrees apart. So these numbers 13 and 72 are occult numbers. On this mural, there is also a circle that may represent the all-seeing eye, the eye of Horus. Also discernible in the mural is what appears to be a serpent wrapped around a tree. Who is that a symbol of? Obviously, Satan in the garden. The globalists love to produce symbols to telegraph what they're doing and what they're planning. In Europe, the Parliament building of the European Union was intentionally built to look like the Tower of Babel. Yeah, we're not kidding. They admit it was intentional. So click right here to keep watching and see why the EU designed a building this way and what it symbolizes for the future. Till then, this is Nelson, and I'll see you there.